What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're for a brand new Madden 26 realistic rebuild of the Baltimore Ravens. We're at a really weird time in our rebuilds. I would have loved to have finished our 32 plus new head coach run of all of our teams here in the realistic rebuilds before free agency started, because now you're just in this weird purgatory of there's just no way you can have an up-to-date roster, you may say to yourself. However, we are now fully on PC for this point in time of the Madden cycle, which means we have the start today roster file. As of March 12th, this is the most accurate Baltimore Ravens team that you can get. And there's something that you are going to notice on this team. And you're not going to probably say, oh, look, they got John Simpson on the offensive line. That's or Durham Smythe, right? No. I might have already. I shared the other day during our mock draft. You didn't see it. The reason why uploads, I'm hoping from here on out we're going to get back into normal. I have been delayed, obviously. I shared that my brother's going through cancer, and this past weekend, really, when the upload stopped, had some bad, not the best news, and just kind of been dealing with that. So you know what? Let's kind of get back into the rebuilds here, and I've been picking away at a Baltimore Ravens rebuild after they struck a gigantic trade with the Vegas Raiders. 2 first-round picks going to the Raiders, and a certain elite, prolific, one of the best in the business pass rushers. And I was like, man, first of all, should I even do this rebuild? Because isn't like Maxx Crosby on the Ravens going to make them an absolute super cool contender, like borderline super team front runner? It was kind of looking that way. I'm going to tell you right now, we were flirting with the sack rep. Maxx Crosby, an elite edge rusher, would do a bunch of great for the Baltimore Ravens, especially in the context of Madden in this brand new Jesse Minter Ravens team. And they backed out. One of the most surprising teams. Now, I mean, it happens sometimes. I'm a big soccer footy fan, and I have seen it happen in soccer where like a player fails a medical. It's not super uncommon, but to have that in the NFL at the biggest trade, bizarre, man, absolutely bizarre. I'm surprised, and I will be surprised if this whole situation doesn't maybe encourage the NFL to modify this tampering period and how much stuff gets out. Because, I guess, the league year didn't start. It wasn't official. It was just kind of in place, and they got cold feet and backed out. But it is certainly, for me, not great. Haven't had a whole lot of time and lost about 2 years of a rebuild Ravens that we already had going on. But that's fine. That is fine, because through the power of Madden 26 mods, as you can see with the draft classes, we're going to have the most realistic draft classes you could ever freaking have. We got player portraits. It's updated with the players that have decided to return to school. We have 3 years of classes. 2026 here, 2027, 2028. 2026 is 100% accurate. I was up to 3 in the morning yesterday, last night, making sure that the combine numbers and kind of getting the ratings where I want. Every other class, I'll get them adjusted as we kind of carry through our realistic rebuilds. But 2026, this is the best Madden 26 draft class. The most realistic and immersive Madden 26 draft class that you are going to find. And if you guys want to figure out how to get your hands on this and you are on PC, join my Discord. I'm soft relaunching my Discord. Link is in the video description below. We're going to be in there a lot more. But this is our team now. Can we survive with the backing out of the Maxx Crosby trade? Well, I think the biggest thing that I am interested to showcase, it's like when you look at this offense, there's still pieces we need. We still definitely need to consider adding to the wide receiver room. We still have Derrick Henry and Mark Andrews, who are on the wrong side of regression as far as Madden is concerned. The offensive line, we don't have a center after losing Linderbaum. Guard, now that we have our first round pick like Vega Ione, the guard from Penn State, has been an incredibly popular mock draft pick for the Ravens. Makes a lot of sense for us. Even though it's not a sexy pick, that would be a huge pick. I think the biggest thing is when we take a little look-see here, we have Declan Doyle coming in over from the Chicago Bears. So we are no longer in that cheesy run-first, Lamar Jackson gets terrible passing numbers, but puts up the best rushing numbers type sim offense that Baltimore's had the last 2 seasons. No, we are now in an entirely different thing. That how's Lamar going to play? I already know that he's not going to be getting 1,000 yards rushing. I know that's not going to be, but are we going to be able to get more production out of his arm, because in Madden, you have never been able to replicate Lamar Jackson's production. Like, they make Lamar Jackson look like he's Ronnie Brown playing the Wildcat. Like, there's been more seasons than not I've seen Lamar Jackson have under 20 passing touchdowns and like 2,000 yards passing. Like, he's playing for the Utah Yetis. So, how is him now in this Declan Doyle offense? What is that going to do for the Baltimore Ravens? Very intriguing. Looking at the defensive side of the ball, they did not get Maxx Crosby, but they did go out and make a big splash here and get Trey Hendrickson, who is going to be a great get for their pass rush. And he's a win-now move. He's 31 years old, 82 with a dev trait. But as a pure pass rusher, what he's going to give them on clear passing downs is going to be a huge asset. I mean, outside that, you like the linebacking core. Maybe Roquan's not the player he once was, but he's still a damn good linebacker. You're going to hope Mike Green can continue to develop. You're going to hope Madubuike can get back pre-injury form. You're going to hope Malachi Starks, who had a lot of hype coming out of Georgia, can take his game to the next level, obviously, with Kyle Hamilton. He's an absolute stud. Nate Wiggins looks like a special player going forward. Got a couple of veterans here, and Marlon Humphrey and Awuzie. But, like, vibes on this Ravens team is like, we got to win sooner rather than later, because there's a chance. We only got 5 years here. That there's like a rebuild within a rebuild. If we don't win a Super Bowl within the first 2-3 seasons, and we go to year 4, year 5 with no Super Bowl, like Ronnie Stanley, Mark Andrews, Derrick Henry, all could be gone and retired and or regressed into absolute dust. Defensively, same could be said for Trey Hendrickson and Marlon Humphrey. And maybe Roquan. I think Roquan should be fine, but I mean, there's a chance to mention it. So we need to win now, and we have a brand new offensive scheme that we have no idea how Lamar Jackson is going to play within. Very, very interesting rebuild coming up. But at least now, we have our first-round picks for the next 2 seasons. Statistically, we're starting year 0 here. Baltimore Ravens went 8-9. Look at the stats. Lamar Jackson did miss some time. 21 touchdowns, 7 picks, 2,500 yards. We need to play a lot better than that. Running the ball, Derrick Henry is still Derrick Henry, which is great, even though the fumbles are up a little bit. 1,600 yards, 16 touchdowns. Very, very nice. Receiving, Zay Flowers goes over 1,000 yards. Definitely no issues about him being our wide receiver 1, especially if we could throw him in the slot. But, I mean, Mark Andrews' production definitely took a drop off. Rashad Bateman is nowhere near giving you enough to feel comfortable with him as really our wide receiver 2. In an ideal world, he'd be our wide receiver 3. Defensively, Roquan's still a tackle machine. Kyle Hamilton's a special player. Buchanan emerged as a guy that maybe we can rely upon, but our pass rush was not great. That is why they try to get Maxx Crosby. That is why we're hoping Trey Hendrickson and Mike Green can take his game to another level, and a healthy Madubuike should be very, very nice. INT numbers not too bad, man. They got Jalen Hawkins in free agency. He had 4 picks last year. Marlon Humphrey with 4 picks. Nate Wiggins with 3. So our DB, our secondary room, I'm happy with that production. I want to see that production continue with a brand new defensive scheme here with Minter, the new head coach, being a defensive-minded head coach. I think with these rebuilds now for the next little bit, with free agency frenzy still going, frenzy. I think the frenzy is done. There's still some players definitely out there in free agency. I've actually heard Zeitler maybe returning to the Ravens could make sense. But our salary cap room is very reflective of what the Ravens are currently dealing with. Not in a great spot, salary cap-wise. There's a reason why they could not retain Tyler Linderbaum. But there's not too many players left still in free agency that I think would be like rebuild altering, especially like long-term. Maybe Jaquan Brisker, maybe Dallas Goedert, but everything else should be fine. And I think with the Ravens salary cap situation, I'm not too worried about within like the couple days of this video dropping while I'm recording them signing someone like a big blockbuster guy. We're gonna have to improve our team through the draft. And again, very happy that we have our first round picks back. Looking at the final mock draft. Ooh. Who do they have us selecting? At number 14, Colton Hood. Interesting. At corner. Makes sense. Corner is definitely another position we could use a stud at long term. I do think guard, Vega Ione at 21. It's not a sexy pick, but like I'm thinking in my brain, I'm probably going to have like Maxx Crosby with a big clickbait red X on it for the thumbnail. So I don't really care about having to find a guy we could toss in the old thumbnail, but I would say definitely other options, man. Wide receiver's a big one that I could see the Ravens going after. I could see the Ravens going defensively. You could go on that defensive front. But I do think at 14, while corner could be in play, might be going guard. Just fixing that offensive line, completing the offensive line, however you want to view that. So at pick number 14, the Ravens are on the clock. Positions. Ooh, Caleb Dow, of course, him being there. That's interesting. So wide receiver, we have our pick of the litter at wide receiver. We want to go in that direction and find a upsidey wide receiver 2. It's kind of home second round. Maybe would be where we consider, like if a Denzel Boston Conception was still available. Offensively, we have Ione, who looks like an absolute stud. I mean, there's also like Pregnon and Jennings Dunker. Dunker is a scheme fit. So is Ione. Defensively, we're looking for, I mean, like Caden McDonald makes sense. Peter Woods could make some sense. Secondary, want to get younger. Colton Hood still on the board. He's a first, second rounder. Did scout Igbenusson, who I think could be an interesting. But I mean, we're looking for zone guys, and it's a heavy man-to-man class. So really, if you want the land a corner, Colton Hood's probably the last guy you can look at bringing in. I'm just, My whole thing is like, can I go somewhere else and then get like Pregnon or Dunker in the second round? Especially with the pick of the litter here, wide receiver. Makai Lemon is a perfect scheme fit. Fuck it. Fuck it, you know? Fuck it. When in doubt, go with the more exciting player. Makai Lemon, 14 in true value, scheme fit. Let's go. Dog. Absolute dog. Maybe a little bit of a head case if you've seen any of his interviews from the combine, but he's a dog. Now, the bad news is Jennings Dunker did not follow us. Teams really wanted to improve their offensive line, and looking at the wide receivers that are still available, Cardell Tate and Jordan Tyson falling with it. We might have been able to do the opposite. I might have been able to, Denzel Boston, I would have drafted him in an absolute heartbeat. So that is, and this is all just sensational news. Looking at the guards, we have Jalen Farmer from Kentucky, or Rutledge from Georgia Tech. Schrouth, underclassman. Actually surprised he declared this year. I mean, Ian Otchor, I could draft him. And Rosengarten was originally a guard. Like that's not cheesy to move him back to guard. I'm pretty sure like he started as a guard, moved to tackle. Yeah, let's do that. 66, 45 for Ian Otchor. Get the dev trait. So take a look at our draft recap. Feel pretty good with the Hall. I'm not gonna lie, Rosengarten. He must have played guard at some point. I don't think I'm tripping. I looked at it and it's listed him purely as a tackle at the next level. But I have to bend the truth there a little bit. I swear he did. I swear, at least from like a Madden standpoint, he was a guard at some point during his rookie season. Either way, look at our class. Shout out Mills. I did this for, I don't know, he probably doesn't watch, but if he did, I know he's a big Ravens fan and our Navy guy. So we got Landon Robinson, 68. I mean, underrated, one of the most underrated, obviously knee size, like 5'11", but an intriguing prospect for sure. He's 68. We got Klein. We got the speed of DeMont Claiborne in the backfield, kind of replacing what they lost in Mitchell. We got the Cario Davis, 6'4", fast, height, weight, speed type corner in the fourth round. LT Overton, classic Bama edge rusher, value in the third round. No depth trait though, all normals, but like all high 60s, which I will take. Ian Otchor, the second round there, 70 with a dev trait, and Makai Lemon, 75. I do think now in hindsight though, there might have been a chance to go like Ione or something, like a clear-cut guard in the first round, and even trading up a couple spots, we might have been able to get Makai Lemon in the second round just for whatever reason wide receivers fall in these draft classes. All right, so let's go to year number one. Offensively, couple changes here. We are going to go Ian Otchor at right tackle. Mulligan here, we're going to try Rosengarten at guard. And we took the punishment. Rosengarten was a scheme-fitted tackle, not a scheme-fitted guard, and you know the house rules. So that's, I feel like we were properly punished by making a move that was fake news. But we have a new starting right tackle, which, I mean, tackle probably could still be in play for the Ravens if it's BPA, because I don't know how many more years we're going to get out of Ronnie Stanley. But with this selection, Ian Otchor, we did get better at two spots on the offensive line. Really, center's the only issue. They just signed Gwynn. I think he's from the Falcons. He's a good placeholder for time being. We have a brand new wide receiver 2. Zay Flowers can be our 1. Makai Lemon can be our 2. Bateman maybe could be our 3. But I just wanted to get, I think now maybe more so than ever with the brand new scheme, Declan Doyle, let's give Lamar Jackson the best chance to succeed as he probably transitions a little bit more to a passer and thrower of the football. Let's give him weapons, all hands on deck. Defensively, obviously excited to see what Trey Hendricks can do in this defense. We also have, again, just kind of highlighted. We didn't really add anything too crazy from a starting standpoint, but like Mike Green, Malachi Starks, Nate Wiggins. How's Kyle Hamilton going to play? Like, there's a lot of unknowns, but a lot of optimistic unknowns on this defensive side of the ball. I just know at the end of the day, we're inheriting a team that in real life went below 500, 8-9. I think we need 10 wins minimum to kind of feel decent about the direction this Ravens team is going. All right, so mid-season we are 4-3. On path. We're on the path. Now, the bad news is we are $12 million in the red, and you could make an argument that, Trenton Simpson and Zay, maybe you could view Humphrey on the way up, but Zay Flowers, Trenton Simpson want to get these guys locked up. Oh, why is our salary cap so? We have to figure this out. We can't let those guys walk. That's going to be just destroying this rebuild. I will say, in case we can't find a way to re-sign Zay Flowers, we got 8 touchdowns and counting for Makai Lemon. He is thriving as a rookie. And felt like a luxury pick. Felt like, you know what I'm saying? We could have been maybe more practical with our first round selection. But now knowing our salary cap situation and Zay Flowers' contract situation, very nice insurance policy in case we can't find a way to get everything under the cap. All right, so at the end of the season, take a look at that. You hired Jesse Minter. You are absolutely loving the number 1 defense, number 1 rush offense. Our passing yards, not the best. If you're going to be the number 1 rushing team, just give me good passing touchdowns for Lamar Jackson. Let's get over high 20s, low 30s, top 5. I'm going to tell you right now, I still have my notes from when we had Maxx Crosby. We had one more win. We went 13-4, but we did not get the 1 seed. So we go 12-5 and have the tiebreaker over. We actually beat Buffalo in the regular season. That's probably the easiest tiebreaker you got going. But the 1 seed immediately starting the Jesse Minter era out on the right foot. Derrick Henry, 2nd leading rusher in the league. Lamar Jackson, 25. What's the rush? 9. So we still, even with this playbook, 34 total touchdowns for Lamar Jackson. Like, if we can get, again, 5 more passing touchdowns. If Derrick Henry can be a little less good. If we can get Justice Hill to stop vulturing. You know what I'm saying? But overall, happy with that for Lamar. Derrick Henry solid. Didn't have a 1,000-yard receiver. Makai Lemon did have 13 touchdowns, which is sick. And it's just, you're in a weird spot. I think Zay Flowers is gonna be worth that contract extension. It's probably fairly realistic, but there is an element, if we're not gonna have a 1,000-yard receiver, do we want to have $80-90 million locked into one? Honestly, it might be a decision need to be made there. Eventually, Roquan Smith, a bunch of tackles on a sacks front, 14.5 Trey Henderson, 9.5 Madubuike, 6 for Simpson, 6 for Mike Green. Solid numbers, INT numbers, 2 picks, Nate Wiggins leading the team, but definitely a little disappointing. Like Hamilton and Humphrey and Starks didn't necessarily pop off. And again, while it didn't look insane, Lamar's still on the MVP shortlist. Makai Lemon wins Offensive Rookie of the Year in a year that we have, Jordan Tyson is in our conference. Mendoza is in our conference. Makai Lemon now owns the rookie record for receiving yards and touchdown catches in a season. And what a matchup in the divisional round here. 12-5 Ravens, 9-8 Bengals. We know what the Bengals bring. Elite passing offense, over 5,000 yards in the year for Joe Burrow. But we have the number 1 defense. This is why you go get a Minter to shut down high-powered offenses like that. Make games ugly and let Lamar be special. I don't think Madden on PC is going to be any different than Madden on console, and that is defense wins championships. And we have the best defense in the league, so very optimistic. Good things are going to happen. But, our offense needs to do something. I think we can hold Cincinnati and not let that passing offense take over this game, but our offense is going to have to find a way to get more than 3 points, especially when we need to find an argument to paying Zay Flowers. There we go. Nice little touchdown drive. Can Lamar, we'll sim it. The slow sim tends to give us better rolls. Can Lamar get a drive going here to put us, and then I would say the argument would be, if our offense only gets 10 points and we let Zay Flowers walk, we're not going to be, is Lamar the least, we're going to get the ball back, least clutch quarterback of all time? Has Lamar ever had a signature playoff moment? God damn it. God fucking damn it. Fumble, INT. That is fucking depressing. We have no money, no salary cap. This is kind of offseason makes me ruthless. We might have to be ruthless. Defense did their job. Offensively, though, god damn it. Look, I mean, Joe Burrow didn't play better, not that good either. But this is just Lamar has more questions than answers when it comes to playoff football. 1 touchdown, 2 INTs. I don't know who fumbled it, but I mean, again, defense did their job. Offense, terrible. I did this from a dev trade perspective. Ian Outshores a star dev. We lose the superstar on Mark Andrews. There was an element of like, I wouldn't hate like a surprise retirement or two to give us some salary cap breathing room, but Derrick Henry's running it back. Makai Lemon, after winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, is now a superstar wide receiver. So very easily could slide in to be our wide receiver 1 because our salary cap is fucked. Pardon my French, but fucked. We lose the X factor on Roquan. I thought Hendrickson could potentially retire. I mean, there's still another window for guys to retire, but like Hendrickson, Marlon Humphrey, Alugier, like all potential targets that could give us a little bit of salary cap relief. Oh, we did have a big one, and it's probably the one that we had the, I don't want to say least cover for, but big shoes. Maybe that's how Rosengard goes back to tackle, and we kind of correct that. And then we slide Ian Ocho over to left tackle. You know, I'm going to do that. You see, we are $9 million in the red, and we'll decline that for Nate Wiggins. Again, perfect world, you know, could move on from Humphrey, but Simpson and Zay Flowers you want back. So before we go restructuring, let's see if we gotta trim some fat. So like Snoop Huntley, there's $2 million, $2.5 million. We need that. I think we can, you know, Hill and Ali out of the backfield. That's, you know, almost $4 million there. Simpson's gonna be one I'm gonna hold on to. Voorhees could free up somebody, but a clean $10 million on Simpson, I'd rather keep a Zay Flowers and replace a guard. All right, even with all that, I got $9 million. Like, you know, we're 17 off for Zay Flowers. Let's get rid of Simpson and Voorhees at guard. Just deplete our depth on the offensive line. All right, so I had to restructure Kyle Hamilton and Mark Andrews. Hamilton wasn't a big deal. Didn't love doing with Mark Andrews, but it gives us just a little bit of breathing room here. Zay Flowers, you know, let's get him in for the rest of this rebuild. It's just a ridiculous amount of money. And this might not even get him. That's the argument here, because I have to keep this number going up. 4-year, 124. There we go. Do we have money for Mr. Simpson? Fuck. That sucks, but we're fine at linebacker. Buchanan needs to step up. We go Buchanan and Roquan, primary. So, and I just think the argument is this is an offensive-driven league. Our offense was solid, you know, last year. There's just no way losing a in-your-prime, only going to get better for the rest of the rebuild wide receiver. Like, you need more weapons for Lamar Jackson, not less. That is my argument here, but depleted our team. We now need a starting left guard, a starting center. We need defensively, you know, at least another corner. Probably another linebacker. And or safety, and you kind of have Hamilton play that hybrid linebacker. So, in hindsight, very happy we have our 2027 first-round pick right now, and not Maxx Crosby. So we lose Marlon Humphrey to the Jags, but we're going to go get a Maryland chance at revival here. Deontay Banks at corner. Big-time athlete. Let's see if he can give us a little bit of juice. Now take a look at where we're projected to go. Mock Draft 5. Let's see if it's fake news or not. We're down here in the 20s. We are expected to go Ryan Baer. A right to, I'll tell you right now, we are absolutely not. I think we are looking here at safety. We are looking here at, fuck man, Sammy Brown would be kind of sick, but I don't think we have the luxury of going linebacker. Like Laulu, scheme fit at center. There could be a trade that needs to get made, but center's just not a priority position. We're in an interesting spot here. We're very interesting. For us, we just got to take the board as it. That's frustrating that Laulu goes at 27. I just couldn't think we could justify trading up for a center. We need all the draft picks we possibly can because we need to fill out our roster on rookie quarterback, rookie contracts just across the board. So, oh, that's annoying. All right, we got to replace our O-line. We're going to go Anthony Knapp first, scheme fit at left guard, A, run block, B, pass block. Let's rebuild the trench here. 50 in true value at 28. You don't love that, but at least he has a dev trade. Holy lack of athleticism. That has got to be a glitch. Second round, I think we go corner here. We have A.J. Harris, zone, the big trade for Penn State to Indiana. Trying to keep that pipeline together. 101 at pick 60. Get a dev trade there. And again, a perfect scheme fit for our defense. Third round, another interesting pick here. I need center and a will. And Jalen Sneed, a disciplined pass cover linebacker. I think he's a transfer from Tennessee. Just for base defense, need a starter there. Happy with that selection. And again, just quick reminder, the 2026 class, I got to check it out. I have yet to do that for 2027 and 2028. It's my next on my to-do list. I just got to get caught up on my videos first. So this class still needs to be optimized, but good start for us so far. So take a look at our draft recap. Very similar to last year's class. Just like no real terrible picks. Got a backup quarterback there. We got some depth. We got Drew Bobo out of Georgia, 68. Normal depth, but a chance, honestly, to be our starting center going into this year. Sneed at will, 71 with a dev trade. Harris, 70 with a dev trade. And Knapp, 72 with a dev trade. So maybe no crazy ratings, but guys with really good ceilings and developmental upside at desperate positions of need. But we got our holes, paws filled, and we kept Zay Flowers. All right, it does unfortunately feel like at this point of the rebuild, year 2, that we're like surviving from a roster standpoint. But offensively, we can at least fill the team here. Not a lot of depth, but we have Knapp at left guard. We have Bobo at center. We kicked Emory Jones at guard. I mean, he's 75 with the depth trade, so there's good there. And then we got Rosengarten back to tackle, Ian Ancho at tackle, and we're just early at Ian Ancho. That's actually ends up aging pretty well of a pick with Stanley retiring when he did. Now massive shoes to fill, but cautiously optimistic. But offensively, again, if we can get a handful more passing touchdowns from Lamar Jackson, keep the rushing numbers where he's at, see if we can get Lemon and or Flowers and or both of them closer to 1,000 yards. Like, we're going to feel real happy about where the offense is at. Defensively, the number 1 defense in the league a year ago. Not as good on paper as we were, but still a lot of talent. I don't expect a lot of regression. We shouldn't fall off the map. I think we still should absolutely be flirting with a top 10 defense. So mid-season, the good news is we are 9-1. The bad news is we just had our first loss, and we lost 42-0 to the Bengals. So, yeah, number 1 defense, number 1 rushing offense. Our pass yards are up. So, like, all that stuff is like Lamar's looking good. That is kind of something that we've been like kind of waiting to see. So I feel real happy with where we're at right now. Looking at our contracts. Oh boy. All right, well. Yeah, well, we got to pay Lamar. Jesus. We can't pay anybody else after we play Lamar. But like Madubuike, Nate Wiggins, Roquan, Derrick Henry, Rosengarten. Definitely all players we want to retain. Well, let's see. We can get Derrick Henry on a 1 year. He might retire. Madubuike, 2-year deal. Looking for 30 a year. Will he take that? $100 million for Nate Wiggins. Okay, he'll definitely take that. Need that. His ceiling's high in the 90s. You got Roquan. I mean, we're not really getting any further ahead here because once we sign everybody, we're not even going to be able to keep everybody. Rosengarten's going to have to walk. And our salary cap's back in the shitter. We lose 2 in a row. We had the 1 seed pretty much locked up. We win one of those final 2 games. We get the 1 seed. We go 12-5. The Bills can catch us, and now we have to run the gauntlet. Don't get to kick our feet up. Offensively, everything looks good. A little bit of regression on the defense. Our passing yards are still, unfortunately, it's the nature of the beast. Lamar is going to be Lamar. 3,300 yards, 26 touchdowns to 6 picks, but our rushing production, unfortunately, also kind of fell off a cliff. But we get 31 total touchdowns, 3,700 yards, 15 and 13 for the ageless Derrick Henry. Hopefully, this isn't his final year. Receiving, Makai Lemon goes over 1,000 yards with 13 touchdowns. I don't think I regret Zay. I honestly, just Rashad Bateman's contract needs to get off the books. He has like a sizable contract. If we didn't have that, I think it'd be easier to have Zay Flowers on the books for that price point, but I still think it's sound logic being like, if we wanted to get more out of Lamar Jackson as a passer, you don't do that by not having Zay Flowers on the team. So, unfortunately, hasn't really yielded the results that we needed. Schemes gonna scheme. Roquan over 100 tackles, 14.5 sacks. Trey Henderson, he's been awesome. It has worked out for sure having Trey Henderson. It's definitely not Maxx Crosby, but he's been very good. 14 sacks for Mike Green. Madubuike was solid as well. And INT still not great for the talent we have in the secondary, led by Deontay Banks. So that's a nice little bounce back year for him. Even with kind of like, Lamar's making MVP shortlist, just barely. So we get the 98 Denver Broncos hosting them. Yeah, hey, great opportunity for us just to like kind of get our first win of the Minter era. Now, this is where you'd love to see something like a Zay Flowers walk-off touchdown win. Or honestly, Zay Flowers dominating like 4 or 5 touchdown performance. Give me something to justify blowing my team up to keep Zay Flowers. Look, the offense came to play 21-0. Every time we've touched the ball offensively, Lamar on fire. Heard me say he's never had a signature playoff win in his goddamn career. And I don't know how much weight we're going to put into a 2-time MVP finally playing good in a wild card home game. But man, oh man, we certainly needed this. 35-17. Minter gets his first win. And we've seen our potential because that's a damn good team. Denver is a solid team, really good defense. And at least we've shown that we can play good in the playoffs. We play like this, we can win the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Derrick Henry, unstoppable. Shout out Rashad Bateman, stepping up and doing something defensively. A couple sacks. Nice INT there. The boys are rolling into the divisional round. Ooh, get the league star boy now in the divisional round. Hell of a turnaround. Maxx Crosby, Fernando Mendoza, and the Vegas Raiders. This is going to be nuts. Ooh, rain game. Okay, I mean, that could favor, you would think, our team. But I mean, they got Genty. They definitely have a run game that they can get going. But our run game is our strength. And in a bad weather game like this, you'd like to say advantage to the not dome team. We will see. 14-7, looking pretty good. Professional so far, not pulling ahead. But our defense has kind of shut that shit down, which is exactly what they need to do. Top 5 defense this year. And here we go, man. Just riding the defense. 7 points allowed, 24-7, and the Ravens are in the AFC Championship game. And it is another just very solid performance from Lamar Jackson. 2 touchdowns, 75% completion percentage. He's figured it out. He's getting comfortable in the scheme. And then we just get the most hated rivalry in the AFC over the last 20 years, give or take. Super Bowl on the line. Who's their fucking quarterback? What did they do to get that thing turned around? Don't tell me it's like, oh. Okay. I got the face scan and everything. Okay. This is going to be a good one. But the fact that the AFC runs through Baltimore, you'd like to think home field advantage could be the deciding factor in that one. I would hate to lose. Drew Allen's cooking us for like a second, third round quarterback. Jesus Christ, Lamar. Losing all the faith and goodwill he gained from playing really well. 0. Wow. Didn't really answer any of the critics there. 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Horrific. Fumble from Derrick Henry, like the worst situation possible. Defense played solid. Pass rush got after it, but Jesus Christ, man, that is very embarrassing. Super winnable game. Just very quickly, if he does decide to retire, 16,000 yards, 145 touchdowns, Derrick Henry. An argument to be made if you're counting high school, college, and pro, the greatest running back of all time. At least statistically speaking. I'm glad we did that. Retires the next week. Legend. But now another hole that we have to fill. Pause. With very little salary cap. We're going to have to kill the draft again. I will say, kind of surprised Lamar Jackson's not losing his X factor, but I guess you're counting the passing and rushing yards. He's been good. Not elite, but he's been good. Looking at the rest of the team, we need a new running back. Claiborne's probably not ready to be an all-down starter. But the offensive line, we've done a good job. Rosengarten, We did get some money with Derrick Henry retiring, but I feel like probably like we just need that breathing room. I don't want to. We could probably re-sign Rosengarten, but then we're going to be back with like $2 million available salary cap. We've been able to draft linemen. Knapp and Bobo look like really good starters. Maybe trust that we could find a tackle in the draft. But we need, debatably for sure, we're going to need a tackle and a running back on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, I mean, also you could throw in tight end. Mark Andrews could be the next guy next year that just retires out of the blue. We don't really have a successor on the team. Defensively, well, we lose the superstar ability on Madubuike. Roquan's regressed down to a star. Buchanan's up to a superstar. He's developed into quite the nice little player there. Harris's dev trait is a star, but already an 80 scheme fit. Banks was a very nice investment in last year's free agency period. So for the defense, I mean, absolutely we can get a little bit younger. But for the most part, we don't really have the luxury of getting successors. We have to find running back and a tackle, and then we can look at getting a young pass rusher and tight end. Yeah, like $15 million a year for Rosengarten. Solid player, but I think we can pinch our pennies a little bit here. I mean, even if we wanted a running back, not a great free agency period for that. Well, it's definitely not a bad free agency period. Like, don't usually see Nico Collins hit in the open market. Kitchens has value. Cooper DeJean, Quinn, like all those guys. There's certainly some nice players. I think this is just another opportunity for us. We look decent. I trust we can hit on the draft. And let's just see, maybe not spending here can finally start giving us some breathing room with our salary cap spot. All right, again, another class. I have not refined this class at all, so we're kind of just taking what the mod has, and they have us going running back at 30, Bo Jackson out of Ohio State, and I'm not going to confirm or deny that. Like, that could work. Certainly could be in play. So I think with how integral running back has been, I don't disagree. Bo Jackson. First team all name. Can he be the next Bo Jackson? Top 10 player in the class. No pressure. You just got to replace Derrick Henry. But knowing how our offensive scheme works, he's going to get a bunch of carries to do exactly that. I'd hate to say we're cheesing, but we desperately need a right tackle, and Page has a pass block, discipline, 6'7". All the traits. Got to reach here. Top 100 player at a USC. And, well, doesn't really line up. Again, not optimized draft class yet. I think we've had another nice little value pick here that can get us an opportunity to be creative with the defense. CJ Hurd, B-zone coverage, perfect scheme fit at strong safety. And it gives us the luxury now to maybe move Kyle Hamilton around the defense there at sub-linebacker. So take a look at our final draft class going into Madden generated world. We're able to get a nice 72 rated punter, some decent depth here in day 3. Shout out Keon Keeley. We used him a couple times in our college football videos, but we get CJ Hurd 67 with a dev trade, Page 69 with a dev trade, and he's likely to get thrown to the Wolves as our starting right tackle. And then we got Bo Jackson, no pressure at all, just please be the next Derrick Henry. Go to year 3, we finally have at least a clear picture about the offensive line going forward. I think Jones is the only guy that's not going to be signed in right now for the rest of the rebuild, and even then we might try to get a contract extension. He could be affordable. So the O-line has some clarity. Definitely need to go the long approach with Page to get him to a scheme fit as our usual house rules for realistic rebuilds. Bo Jackson, I mean, that's all eyes. All eyes is on the passing offense in a ways because we want to see Makai Lemon and Zay Flowers both go over 1,000 yards. We want to see Lamar Jackson be 20% better as a passer, but Bo Jackson has to step in and take over for Derrick Henry. We know how important that is in the offense. I mean, the mock draft said to take him. I don't really have a lot of experience with this 2028 class, so I don't really know what to expect. But, good skill set. Definitely a skill set of a guy. And obviously, I've seen him in college football. Huge in college football, the video game, always a top transfer portal running back. And even last year for Ohio State, part of that rotation, he was very, very dynamic. Defensively, I'm going to go with the approach here, man, of putting Hamilton a little bit more sub-linebacker. See if that can maximize his value to the defense when he's out there. So that means the dev trade Hurd, when we're not in base defense, he's going to be able to get on the field, maximize his dev trade a little bit. But I think the fact that, Buchanan is the only superstar player, and I think that's because he's Sam linebacker. There's a little bit of cheese there. I'd like to get some dev traits going on the defense. The fact that we've had the number 1 and number 5 defense both years of the rebuild, and no one's really elevated their game, definitely a little frustrating. So let's see if we can get some growth there. So looking good mid-season, undefeated, just ahead of our bye week, but there's still also plenty of time to have the other shoe drop and we start sucking. $77 million salary cap's good. Buchanan, I think with how we're using Kyle Hamilton, that's just, don't let the dev trade fool you. That's just because of Sam. It's not because of his play. That's a lot of money. He's looking for, we're not going to be able to pay that. I will pay Malachi Starks here, though. Let's see if we can get him on a 3-year, lock him up for the rest of the rebuild at safety. He's finally now a scheme fit. Mike Green, we just don't have much in the pipeline long-term at pass rush, so I think locking him in for the rest of the rebuild. Don't think we're too far away there on that deal. We can replace Travis Jones, nose tackle, with upcoming, drafts. I think same with guard. Emory Jones at guard. He's developed nicely, but those are like 2 very replaceable positions. Oh, easy 3 very replaceable positions. So we'll get Mike Green. We'll keep Mark Andrews on a 2-year. He's been solid. You want to try to, keep some of the OGs in place. So we'll come back for Mike Green and try to replace everybody else this offseason. At the end of the season, we go 15-2 with our best passing production, which is, don't want to be glazing the fact that we're 18th, but that's good steps for us. Almost top 5 offense. The run game with Bo Jackson thrived. Number 1 defense again. So this Jesse Minter defense is terrifying. It's always going to give us a chance. And the good news, Bo Jackson, a superstar dev. So spoilers, if you were using these modded draft classes, Bo Jackson's pretty sick. The bad news is a lot of our points have been invested making him a power back. So, he probably would have been like an 85, 86 if we were just saying screw it. But, those are the house rules you need. They got to keep everything in balance with the XP and where it's at. Page, same another guy where we now finally have him as a power scheme fit. But if we were just going straight archetype, he'd be probably high 70s by this point. But everything's looking good. Setting and establishing our baselines across the board. And let's just hope, man, that one of those guys on the defensive side of the ball, one of those star devs for another number 1 defense can go up a dev trade. But Lamar Jackson, this is the type of Lamar Jackson we need. I don't need 5,000 yards. I don't need 45 touchdowns. But give me 34-4. Give me 5-5. Maybe a little more rushing. We'll be fine. Bo Jackson steps in for Derrick Henry, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. Don't like the 4 fumbles, but production for a rookie, pretty good, especially with Lamar Jackson taking the step up. Just under 2,000-yard receivers. Makai Lemon with a great year. Solid campaign from Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews, that kind of production makes me feel better about the contract extension. Even Bateman was definitely solid. Defensively, Kyle Hamilton, base. Let's go. That should be maybe a dev trade for him. 95 tackles, 2 TFLs, 4 INTs, 13.5 sacks Trey Henderson, 12 from Mike Green, 7 Matabuike. And we got 2 picks Starks. Still just not great INT numbers for the number 1 defense. We got Lamar Jackson, top 5 in MVP voting. Thought that'd be a little more generous, but Jesse Minter wins Coach of the Year. Bo Jackson wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, so always a chance. Get that X factor. And a smart decision with Kyle Hamilton, DB of the Year. That should almost guarantee he'll go up a dev trade. If not, maybe a chance at double dev trade. The 10-7 Jets here in the divisional round. Always with these teams when they're finally making the playoffs. Just curious, what is the quarterback situation? I doubt they still just we're going with Geno Smith. Okay, Lenore Sellers. And they had Ty Simpson on the roster. And just a bizarre quarterback room, but Lenore Sellers looks like an absolute stud. Number 1 defense. Defense wins championships in Madden 26. We've had one of our best defensive performances through 3 seasons. And the fact that we've yet to, taste a Super Bowl. And the fact that our number 1 defense struggling here against Lenore Sellers. You'd think all the practice against Lamar Jackson, we'd be good against these dual threats. It's a 1-score game. Come on, Lamar. God damn it. Vibes, we got 2 years left. I think this is going to be an L. I don't know. I don't really know what more we can do because it's not, schematically, our offense, good. Best it's looked, especially from a passing standpoint. We have the best defense in the league. It's not as simple as, I got to fire and change the scheme up. The schemes are going to work. I don't know. This is one of those rebuilds. I have no fucking idea what else I can do outside of just navigating our bad salary cap situation and keep hitting on draft picks. The Jets were at least, like, good. It's not just like, oh, they're the Jets. They went into the Super Bowl. And then from a depth trade standpoint, we didn't get the lucky double dev on Bo Jackson, but, you know, that's still pretty good. If he would have been just a star dev, he likely would have got the superstar. So we're kind of where we should be there. Defensively, look at Kyle Hamilton. He does get the dev trait. Of course, Buchanan just unjustly is now an X factor, and he's going to be leaving via free agency. Just really surprised that, you know, Hendricks, I mean, he's at that age, I guess, where you're not going to really develop a whole lot, but for how consistent he's been, that would have been nice, or really any of the corners, but we don't really have the, I think this rebuild's a great reflection about in terms of, like, how the game generates who should get dev trade or not. INTs being tied into, INTs and, like, tackles being tied into corners, getting their dev trade increase. I think that needs to get reworked more so than any other dev trade scenario in Madden for going into Madden 27. And our top pass rusher retires. So, sweet. We go to free agency, we need a pass rusher. I'm not going to be able to find a pass rusher at the asset, like where we're going to be picking the next few drafts. So, it'd be, ooh. I think Jalen Walker could certainly work. Yeah, some veterans on the other side. I like that. What's he looking for? 14 a year? I think I gladly would pay that. So let's see where that would put us. Hopefully first. It does. Very nice. We're going to draft a guard. We're going to draft a D-tackle. Should we? Derek Harmon would be cool, but there's no interest, so I'd have to overpay. So we'll draft a D-tackle. We'll draft a guard. We're letting Buchanan walk just because, again, that's just ridiculous money, and his dev trade has been inflated, not necessarily production-based. So I'm thinking, you know, we're probably in a pretty good spot. If we can get Jalen Walker, let's go. Good start to the offseason. All right, so go to the draft in the first round. I'm thinking we go D-tackle first. And, of course, all of our scouting is gone. There is nose tackle cheese, but, like, I think we could probably wait on this. Right? You think? Like, if we want to go guard, which is another spot we need to... Jesus Christ. All right, this is nothing to guard. D-tackle was a wait. I guess linebacker was something we needed to look at. Jesus. Fuck me. Well, that's just fuck it. This guy's gonna be good. 56 and 28 dev trait. Let's go. We need a guard. Cam Porter. Okay, UDFA. This is the best guard. Let's make sure we get him. Top 100 player, dev trait, day one starter for us. I'll be honest. I'm just searching through here. Like I was like, I have my notes. Let's get some linebackers. 2 linebackers was kind of what I wanted. Jimmy Dominguez has a motor that runs through the wall and discipline who rarely gets flagged. Now, the base rating might not be crazy, but I guarantee this guy is going to have a very, very high ceiling in our defense. Man, this guy also looks good to get our second. Phillip Nails, elite acceleration. Should be, I mean, the base rating not great, but another high ceiling player. Grab another nose tackle cheese here in Morales. If they're there, we'll take them. Another developmental tackle here out of Vandy. Disciplined left tackle. Best bench press for a UDFA. Best bench press here. Always take a swing on this guy, even though, Jesus Christ, very unathletic. And then we finish up with the damn good kicker. I'm surprised, man. He had everything, but only had, like, great kicking, not elite, 91 kick power, but hell yeah. So take a look at our draft recap. Maybe not our best in terms of overall, but every single player has a dev trait. So that's always very, very nice when you can get it. Cologne, 80 dev trait. McCoy, 67 dev trait. Morales, 68 dev trait. Nails, 65, but he had a dev trait. Dominguez, 68. I think there's a very good dev trait behind that, so he's going to be a great understudy for Roquan Smith. And if Roquan maybe, like, surprisingly retires, you know, maybe he'll develop enough that he can contribute. Cam Porter at guard, he's going to be a day one starter for us. 72 for a UDFA player that's just saying we got to get him. 72 dev trade guard. You take that every day of the week in the second round. Same with Reinhardt, man. The board did not fall particularly well for us in terms of like top tier, highly rated players, but I think Reinhardt and Porter both are going to be very solid starters, and we got nice depth. All right, going to year 4. I'm about at the spot where it's like, if you guys have won a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, you might need to send me visual proof on X, because I mean, big picture, right? Our offensive line ratings, we definitely need to get that right-hand side. Like, between this season and by the end of next year, year 5, I think the offensive line across the board is going to be very good. We got the veteran and Andrews still solid. We have 2 90-plus rated wide receivers. Best young in the conversation running back in the league. And Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson. That offense really has no excuse. I think the same thing for defensively. Our secondary, no weaknesses. Especially if you throw in the safeties here. That's a very good secondary. The linebacking core across the board is very good. We've been able to get great production out of our pass rushers, even though the fact that, like, Hendrickson's been low 80s, high 70s. He's still getting double-digit sacks. So the scheme has been outstanding. We've had a top 5 defense every year we've been here, yet I have no idea. I have no idea what we're missing, and all I can hope is another strong regular season. We were 15-2 last year. Let's see where we can get this year, and I hope to God we can figure it out in the playoffs. This season, we are 5-3, so well on the trajectory to have a very good record and be in contention for the 1 seed and to win the division. $167 million of salary cap. Makai Lemon's been awesome, so definitely want to keep him. I don't think we're too far away of a deal. Ian not sure. I mean, we're at a spot right now where we've been tight with the budget. Now we can start throwing some money around. I think Deonte Banks has been solid. The fact that he's developed into a scheme fit. No issues about keeping him for another year. Finishing out the rebuild. Bateman, I think we could save some money there. Madubuike, I think, again, if he's just looking for a 1 year, let's keep him. He's been one of our most consistent pass rushers. Roquan, same kind of deal. We're probably not going to find a better player in a 1 year. He'd likely be the top inside linebacker available. And you need some of the old heads to run it back, keep that experience out there. And I don't think we're too far on Iheanacho or Lemon. We'll get them both signed and have enough to maybe make one splash in free agency if the opportunity presents itself. So then, number 4, our worst record, 9-8. However, like, our rankings still very, very good. Pass yards are whelming, but offensively a top 10 offense, the number 2 defense in the league. I think just tough schedule. First place schedule is what it is. 3,500 yards, 28 touchdowns, 5 picks for Lamar. And I mean, that's also an element. Lamar's old, man. 32 years old. He's regressing. And it just happens. Every quarterback in this game, there's a drop-off point. And I don't know how close we are to that with Lamar. I mean, that's still a good year. 30-plus touchdowns. Almost 4,000 yards. Bo Jackson was solid, 11-11. Receiving, Makai Lemon over 1,000 yards and 15 touchdowns. Zay Flowers has not lived up to his contract, but I think that's probably more of an us thing than it is a him thing. Defensively, Kyle Hamilton, putting him to that like hybrid linebacker role, definitely maximizing his ability. 13.5 sacks for Jalen Walker. That is a hit. Madubuike with 11, 8.5 for Mike Green. Not bad, man. Not bad. We got Dominguez, who we said was going to be a great pick. And that is great production for the superstar rookie out of South Carolina. Only a 70 rated. Wouldn't know. With that type of production, he might be in like Rookie of the Year conversation. Our INT numbers, the best of the rebuild so far. And even with Lamar regressing, he's still top 5 in MVP voting. I think for sure with how iffy we are in the playoffs, like we need to get that first round bye, I think, to go win a Super Bowl. Because there's every opportunity for us just to underwhelm. And here we go in the wildcard round, 11-6. Vegas Raiders, who are also very good. The number 1 rushing team, top 5 offense, top 5 defense. Oh boy. Let's see it, man. The new dogs, Jalen Walker. Let's see him take the game over defensively. Get a bunch of sacks. Make Fernando Mendoza uncomfortable. Lamar Jackson, the haters have been right. Every single time. You do not have what it takes to lead this team to a Super Bowl. When are you going to prove the haters wrong? There's a card-carrying member of the Lamar Jackson fan club since he entered the league. Love to see that happen. Here we go, man. 28-28 at some point. Right there, man. Go win it. Defense, hold him out. Let's go. That's a quality win, man. That's a damn good Raiders team. 31-28 on the road. On the back of Lamar Jackson. One of his finest playoff performances yet. Ooh, okay. The Bengals. Beat the Bengals way back in year number 1. We played them in the division round. They beat us, so it's time to beat up on them. They're the Bengals. We know what they do. Look at the passing. Jamar Chase over 2,000 yards. Joe Burrow. Video game numbers. They're not good at anything else. Defense wins championships. Let's go, fellas, on the road. Maybe that's what we need. We've been the home team. Maybe this is a team that's road dogs. We can't have Stavy in the stand with a gun and camo pants. It's too intimidating for Lamar. But we go on the road. That's going to be our winning combination. But so far, not great. And we're settling for... I know it's over, man. When you're settling for field goals here, you're not going for it on a fourth down. There's no aggressiveness. I think it's just cursed team, man. This is a very... I mean, we have all three of our timeouts. No chance. I have no fucking idea. No idea how you win a Super Bowl with the Ravens. I am stumped. And we got one more year. It's going to be more of the same. We're going to be one of the best teams, and we're going to do fuck all in the playoffs. I'm sure of it. Just point out, it wasn't really Lamar. That's not a bad 263, 2 touchdowns. Better than Joe Burrow. Where's our elite defense at? Quickly, I'd say maybe a chance Roquan Smith retires. So a quick reflection in case he does: 1,500 tackles, 86 TFLs, 29 sacks, 15 picks. One of the best linebackers of this era. But he wants a ring. Let's go. Look at our team. All right. Well, dev traits, nothing changes. Everything's pretty much the same. We had not great regression in Mark Andrews. So tight end would be a position we could throw some money out there. We're going to be down Bateman at wide receiver 3, but with our passing offense, I don't think wide receiver 3 is the missing piece. Defensively, Hamilton's up to an X factor. Our linebackers are our linebackers. We just can't buy dev traits, man. That's just the big thing, man. We haven't had standout individual performances outside of Kyle Hamilton the last 2 years that's been able to raise our dev traits. I think Madubuike's been harshly dev trait stolen. I think Roquan just probably should still have his dev trait, just lost because of his age. Jalen Walker had a hell of a year. I don't know how he didn't get a dev trait. Kind of surprising. But I don't know. Let's try and figure this out. Come on, dude. This is the free agency role you gave. I was like, I'm willing to spend for the sake of spending. Just be like, what can we possibly do? And nothing at tight end. Theo John, that's not gonna help us. Say fuck it and just throw some money at DK Metcalf at wide receiver 3. We can, from the offensive line, our O-line's on point. I like the homegrownness of our offensive line. Defensively, none of these guys are going to be upgrades. Not a single one of those guys is an upgrade. Meaningful. Linebacking core is great. Even with the regression, Roquan's an 83. That's comparable here. I'm not just going to go get Fred Warner. Secondary, there's no upgrades. So, we have kick. Yeah, we got our special teams are on point. I'm truly stumped. Outside of going with the Bengals playbook, where it's just going to be hopefully Lamar can get 50 passing time. I don't even know that would fix it. Because it's the production, how we're finding ways to win in the regular season from the whole body of work. Lamar's in MVP consideration every year. It's not a quarterback issue during the regular season. We're getting our production from our wide receiver 1. I think probably for the talent that we have, the fact that we're not getting big-time production out of both Makai Lemon and Zay Flowers, that's probably an issue. I don't know if throwing DK Metcalf in the mix solves that, but I don't know. Outside of the fact that we don't have a super team, a perfect super team, and that is the nature of dealing with Lamar Jackson's contract on the books, what do you do? Hey, the only way you can win a Super Bowl with the Ravens is trade Lamar, not re-sign Lamar when you have that chance and just commit to a different quarterback. I don't know, man. This is bizarre. For the draft, our focus coach was tight end. That's literally the only position that we might be able to get someone that by season end could be better than Mark Andrews. Now, I love the fact that we have a bunch of options here at tight end. We have Clarence Barber. Looks pretty good athlete. We have Mark Stanley Also, he's the athlete. 4'9", 6'4", 260. We have Watson, 6'6". He also looks pretty good with elite speed, jumping, great acceleration. Ain't a problem there. Mr. Weston is very nice as well. 4'5'3". We might have to just go with letter grades here at this point. Ooh, this guy also looks very good. A catcher. This guy's the best. That kind of route running, and he's a scheme fit. That will be our guy. But this is a very good year in class of tight ends. That's all we need. That's the only thing I can think of. It's like maybe we get more of that Mark Andrews position with him regressing the way he has. I'll bring in an RB2. We went Alan Jacobs here, just more so. I just chasing a power back, and a power back that has 91 speed tends to be a pretty good player. 231, 91 speed. Put that with Bo Jackson in the backfield. So take a look at our draft recap. Pretty dang good. Got a long snapper, looks pretty nice. Got a very decent looking defensive tackle here at Boston College. The undersized nose that, the undersized non-nose. That's what I meant. Like no nose tackle cheese. Sometimes you can get very nice, especially with that strength. 71 dev trait, 73 dev trait on Iglesias, who I probably will start at tight end. No disrespect to Andrews, to see if we can get, Andrews still will contribute. So curiosity, top player in the class is a freaking Aaron Donald regen. That's pretty sick. 93 tackle on a rookie. That's crazy. All right, well, before we get to stamp this as a curse rebuild, and pretty much impossible without just like completely blowing the team up and restarting, we got one more chance to go out here and try and get a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. He's a 90, he's regressing, but he's still very good. Makai Lemon, Bo Jackson, Zay Flowers. That is more than enough in the skill positions. And then we throw in the fact we got DK Metcalf and the best tight end in the class with Mark Andrews. There's depth to this offense. I imagine probably by the end of the year, almost all of our offensive line, probably outside of Porter, is going to be in the 80s. So you can't ask much more than that. Defensively, stacked defense led by Hamilton. You still got Roquan, our pass rush, double-digit sacks consistently. The secondary is going to be one of the best in the league, top 5 at worst. D-line led by Madubuike has been one of, very much in flirting with double-digit sacks every single year of this rebuild. I mean, even our special teams is on point. So, let's just hope first things first. Let's get a first-round bye so we don't have to play the wild card. So it's just one last game that we have a chance of fucking up on, and hopefully take it from there. The quick mid-season update, our first-round pick, Iglesias at tight end. Give us another superstar rookie. We also are belt-assing teams, 7-1 at the midway point. So our team rating, 90 overall. We're one of the highest-rated teams. Offensively, the number 1 offense in the league. 15th in pass yards, so that's, for our standards, really, really good. The best rush defense in the league, but our worst defensive performance. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe this is the counter of everything we've learned in rebuilds, and having a bad defense means you'll go further in the playoffs. I don't know. Lamar Jackson, 3,600 yards, 25 touchdowns, 3 picks. Pretty much what he's been able to give us. He's been great, but not elite in this rebuild. Bo Jackson crushed it, though. One of the top 5 rusher in the league this year, 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns. Great 1-2 punch there with Alan Jacobs, who is a star dev. The rookie receiving, no 1,000-yard receiver. What? Okay. So adding DK Metcalf completely threw things off for Lemon and Flowers. Defensively, Kyle Hamilton. I mean, that's something I wish I did sooner. We wasted 2 years of not playing him at like a hybrid linebacker. Mike Green with a breakout, 17.5 sacks. Jalen Walker with 8. Not too bad. Big regression there from Madubuike from what we've been getting. INTs, love seeing that, man. Nate Wiggins with 6 picks. I'm going to guess likely DB of the year. And if we can make the Super Bowl, a dev trade increase. For our award winners, Iglesias at tight end. The superstar gets offensive rookie of the year. And as we guessed, Nate Wiggins is DB of the year. Because this is a Year 5 Super Bowl, let's take a look at our player stats and kind of reflect on what we've been able to accomplish in their career, including this rebuild. Lamar Jackson just under 40,000 yards passing, 325 touchdowns, 70 picks for the 2-time NFL MVP. Rushing as well, 8,600 yards, 63 touchdowns. That must put him at number 1 all time. I mean, who else would be up there, right? Michael Vick, Cam. I think he's probably in a class of his own. Bo Jackson, what a get he was. Having to replace Derrick Henry, no easy feat. He came in as a superstar running back at Ohio State. And, well, maybe not putting up like the S-tier numbers we were getting at Derrick Henry. Very good. Not really a noticeable drop-off. Receiving, we got, well, obviously we inherited DK. Mark Andrews, 8,400 yards, 70 touchdowns, the all-time leader for the Ravens in all those categories. 7,500 yards, 39 touchdowns for Zay Flowers. And we definitely hit on Makai Lemon, 4,800 yards, 60 touchdowns in 5 seasons. Inevitable that he would, pass Mark Andrews and be the all-time leader in, for sure, at least touchdowns when all is said and done in his career. Defensively, Roquan, 1,600 tackles, 91 TFLs, 30.5 sacks, 16 picks. We have 69 sacks, nice, on 98 TFLs for Madubuike. Mike Green, 61.5. And from an INT standpoint, Nate Wiggins getting 6, gives him the top spot in the rebuild with 17 picks, 16 for Roquan and 16 for Hamilton. From a legacy standpoint, I mean, for whatever it's worth, Lamar is ahead of Mahomes with no Super Bowls. God bless him and Josh Allen. Mark Andrews, second at tight end behind Travis Kelce. Roquan was like 4th. Kyle Hamilton, 2nd at strong safety. I'm surprised there's that big a gap between him and Budda Baker. But our goal was to first get a first-round bye, so it's just one last opportunity to fuck up. We do that. And now we take on the 11-6 Denver Broncos in the divisional round. They have a top 10 passing offense, top 10 defense overall, including a top 5 rushing defense, which could be tricky. That is certainly our strength. But from a roster standpoint, we're better. From a quarterback standpoint, we have Lamar Jackson. Let's just not screw this up. You know what? If we do lose, we're just going to call it the karma from the whole Maxx Crosby situation. We're cursed from the beginning. I don't know, man. It's insane. I like to think I'm one of the best at doing these types of things. And that's the only thing, is just literally move off from Lamar Jackson. He's too niche to be reliable in the sim. That's the only thing I can think of. But you never know. If we can get a little bit of magic here, it does not matter. We, with a divisional win, we are in the AFC Championship here in year 5. Defense shows up. Lamar does just enough. Let's keep rolling. It's not like we had no playoff success. This is our 2nd AFC Championship game in 5 years, which is a pretty good record, realistically. We got the 11-6 Jags, who offensively are not particularly good. Defensively, though, top 10 defense. Look at the roster, though. We are 5 overall points better, 7 in the offensive department. Let's see that on display and make a Super Bowl. Let's at least make a Super Bowl. Last time we were here was way back in year 2 where we lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Drew Aller had his moment. Now for us, I mean, there's just nothing the Jags do that's better than us outside of, I guess I have Liam Cohen as their play caller. Let's see. It's going to be a low-scoring, ugly game, I think, but a very nice first-half lead. Defense, let's shut it down. Looking very good. Up 17. Up 20. Don't blow it. Oh, yeah, man. The defense, finally, when our defense is not top 2, and we ain't talking 2, they actually start to show up. What a performance. And the Ravens at least have a chance making the Super Bowl here. Lamar Jackson has been the steady hand navigating and steering this ship to a Super Bowl appearance. Into the Super Bowl, we get, unfortunately, as an Eagle fan, kind of the God squad in Madden. I don't know what the fuck happened to make them this good, but the Giants are insanely good in Madden 26 franchise mode. And it wasn't always like that. It was a patch or some shit. They got a top 10 offense, top 5 defense. A lot more green than what we have, but we are 4 overall points better. Again, we bring a 7-point advantage offensive rating-wise. If we play up to our standard, we play the way that we had, make these games ugly, we could just find a way here at the end here. Cash this in as a successful rebuild. And on top of that, we did lose the superstar on Lemon. Bo Jackson's an X-Factor running back. We've been a run-first team, so that's going to be huge. And Nate Wiggins getting his DB of the year. He's now a superstar. Let's see it on the biggest stage. Tell you what, with how much bullshit, I might give myself a drive here. Things start to get ugly, and we're losing like 17-0. I might hop in just to see if we could spark something. But I'm going to trust that Lamar, finally in a Super Bowl, is going to have a career game. He's going to shut up all the haters. And as a veteran quarterback, no longer relying on his freak athleticism, he's going to put together an effort. Let's go. Let's cash that one in. Down 3 going in the second half. Very tight game. So here will be my one. I got it. We won't go for the end zone. But on the 45, let's see if we can just kind of nudge him here on this drive. Huge drive. We got 2 turnovers forced by the defense. Got a nice drop there by Zay Flowers. Would have been short anyway, so perfect. Who says every time I hop in, it's a big play and a score? Fuck! 7 points. It's cursed. The Maxx Crosby curse, dude. We rebuilt the Ravens. We won a Super Bowl. We won 2 Super Bowls. I'm looking at it now. Ravens were an early rebuild for us. They literally were our second realistic rebuild. So this is probably way back in September, probably late September. We won our Super Bowl year 3, and we won a Super Bowl in year 5. In that rebuild, we actually fired Harbaugh and hired Jesse Minter as our coach, head coach in that one. Cool. And we drafted Mansour Delane. I don't know. Fuck, man. Lamar didn't play well. That's obvious. It's fucking obvious. God damn it. So that's pretty much the only thing. It's literally unexplainable how we didn't win a Super Bowl. So the only thing that makes sense is Maxx Crosby curse. That is why it did not work out. If you have been able, with this scheme, you're going with Declan Doyle. So you're going Bears offense, Chargers defense. I'm going to make the argument with also having Lamar at quarterback. If you've won a Super Bowl with this, please show me so I can see that it is possible. And you are, at least on this day, I will admit, a better rebuilder than I am. Because I don't know what the fuck we could have done different, man. Our salary cap was terrible this whole rebuild. So that's why we don't have a super team. And we still managed to replace everybody that we lost. You know, I think it's one of those things. In hindsight, probably, in hindsight, probably not paying Zay Flowers because he never went over 1,000 yards and we gave him like an $80 million contract or whatever the fuck it was. Probably was stupid. But then also, if we didn't and we had someone else at wide receiver that would be lower than 91, and then I'd be sitting here saying, well, maybe we could have got another big-time wide receiver and that would have elevated Lamar Jackson when that clearly was never going to happen. So I don't know. Give me your theories in the comment section below. But happy to be back here in the down here in the studio, that we'll call it, recording content for you guys. I am chipping away slowly but surely on a new 20-year rebuild. I'm doing the Cleveland Browns. Johnny Manziel. It's gonna be fun. I'm falling behind a little bit, so I don't know when that's gonna be out. I'd love for it to be the weekend, but probably not. We'll probably have. Let's see, what today's Thursday. We're gonna have the Yetis off season and community mock draft either Friday or Saturday, probably Saturday. And it'll be more reasonable for me to get another realistic rebuild out this weekend before a 20-year rebuild. So let me know in the comment section below what rebuild you guys want to see next. Give me some ideas and direction we should go. If you enjoyed today's video and it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out. Love ya. Have a good one.